Hey guys, it's Caitlin from Brother in Woods. Today's craft is we're going to be making these magazine bowls. So for this, all you need are some old magazines, some Mod Podge or glue, something to brush it on with, and some tape. So what you're going to do is you're going to tear out all those pages from a magazine. The more magazines you use, the bigger your bowl is going to be. But if you're just starting out and have never done this before, starting with a small one is a lot easier when you're pulling it up and coiling it, but I'll show you all that in a minute. So once you pulled out all those pages, in order to fold your paper to get this nice little coil that's going to happen, you're going to just fold your page in half first, and then you're going to open it back up. So from there you're going to find that middle line and fold it on both sides into that line. You're going to do that at least one more time. This one I only folded it this many, like to where I'm going to stop in just a second, just so that way it was easier for me to pull up. But if you want a challenge, you can fold it one extra time, which will look like this side. So it's a little bit of a difference, but it just depends on what kind of challenge you're up for. So I'm going to fold it in one more time on both sides, and then you're going to just fold it in half so that way it's nice and flat. From there, you're going to take your piece of magazine that you've folded and you're going to attach it to the rest of the coils that you've done. Or if it's your first one, you're going to set it to the side until you get some more. So to do that, you're going to take this and you're going to put it right in between the fold of another one. You're going to take, I usually use about 2 pieces of tape just to make sure it's nice and secure. So I'm going to just tape around that where it met, and then I'm going to do it a little backwards just to keep that piece of tape nice and secure. So you're going to do this until you use about 1 whole magazine. So get ready to fold a lot. It'll be a lot of fun though, and they're super helpful for when you're done. So from there, as I go, I like to kind of crease it a little bit so that way it makes my coiling a little easier. So from there, you're going to start rolling up your magazine pieces to start making this nice big coil saucer. So you're just going to kind of roll it. So it might take a minute to just roll. You want to kind of keep it as even as possible. It'll make it a lot easier for when you are pulling it up. If you feel like it might come undone, after you get through about like 4 or 5 of these coil pieces, you can add a piece of tape to it just to kind of hold that base together. It's kind of up to you how you do it. So this one that I'm making is going to be a pretty small one, just so that way you can kind of see the basic of it. Feel free to get much larger than this one or about this size. As you go, we're almost there. So as I'm coiling it, I'm kind of pressing down on the coil and rolling it with the other hand, just so that way it stays nice and tight. You don't want super loose coils or it won't stay together when you pull it up. Yeah, just kind of keep rolling. So it's kind of getting all tangled up, so you can just keep eye and stop and go back and pull it up. Sometimes when you're doing this, you'll get to the very end and get ready to pull it up and then it'll just slip. If that happens, it's okay. Just go back and coil it again and try until you get it. Almost there. Alright, I'm at the very end. I'm going to take a piece of that tape. If it helps to have some tape just kind of already open and hang it on the side of your table to do this, that's just okay. I'm going to put a couple pieces of tape on it just to make sure that it stays. And I'm going to do, like I said earlier, just put a piece of tape on the base, kind of how big I want it to be. It's up to you how big you want your base to be, but this will help keep it together as you're doing it. So I'm going to do it on both sides. Alright, we're going to pull it up. This is kind of the part where you have to be super careful. So when you're doing it, you're going to start at your base and just gently push it down. Don't go super fast or you risk it coming apart. If you feel that it's going to come apart, just kind of push it back down just a little bit. And you'll kind of know its limit based on how big you've got it. But I'm going to stop right about there, just so that way I know it's going to stay together. From here, what I like to do is I like to tape the inside just so that way I know it stays together when I'm going to Mod Podge it. And then once the outside is done being dried, you can remove the tape and then you'll do the inside. Because it's really sad when it all falls apart at that point. So from there, all you're going to do is take your Mod Podge and kind of just brush it on. I like to use foam brushes because they really like to get in there. They hold a lot of the Mod Podge at one time, other than a paintbrush. But a paintbrush will do just fine. If you don't have a paintbrush, you can use your hands if you don't mind getting sticky. But yeah, you're just going to Mod Podge the whole thing. Let the back of it dry. I usually let it dry for about a couple hours just to make sure it's nice and set. Flip it over, remove the tape, and then Mod Podge the inside. But that'll be your magazine bowl.